and hang tight. Here we go. Hey, good evening. It is Wednesday, and we're looking at about, what, 1 minute after 9 o'clock, and welcome to our first podcast, the Phantasmic Journey podcast. Hope you're all joining us, and we're going to have two really cool guests tonight. We're going to have Jeromy Jones, which is the creator and builder of Paranologies equipment used for ghost hunting, and we have also, who else?
Rowana Ray.
Rowana Ray. She's going to be on here for location of the week. We'll hopefully learn about the Hartford City Speakeasy, the Hartford City Jail, and
her new location that she just got. Hopefully she can give us some little tidbits on her new one that she just got.
Yeah, she's got a new one. Yeah, look, we are wearing the EVP shirts. Earthbound Voices Paranormal, like I explained in earlier messages. We are looking to wear other teams' t-shirts during our podcast, during filming of our episodes. You can see us wearing it doing Facebook Live while on location, quite possibly behind the scenes. Different times. We'll also radio t-shirts. We'll wear the radio show shirts too.
Oh yeah.
So just hit us up via Messenger, and we'll go ahead and, well, hey, we'll wear them. We're showing off. We're giving back to you guys, right?
Yep. Also tonight we're dedicating the show to two things. One, my best friend. I lost her back in July, and she was looking forward to seeing our podcast tonight. She was really going forward to it, and I lost her back in July. And also a second dedication tonight towards all the Harvey and Irma hurricane victims tonight. May you have peace, love, and hopefully the struggles are not going to be that hard on you guys. I know there's going to be a lot of rebuilding and a lot of destruction has happened. Lives have lost. But tomorrow is a new day. And so we pray to God that you guys will be able to dust your feet off and keep walking on.
Yeah, a lot of our friends made it out of it pretty well. They were safe. Melissa Tanner, Selena, April.
I have a couple of friends. I have one friend that was in Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico, yeah.
Yeah, and she happened to be in the right part of the island at the right time to where she didn't have to sustain any kind of damage or anything or any flooding, so.
That's a good thing. We kind of got the spin-off up here in Kentucky, but it just mostly rain.
Yeah, luckily we didn't get too flooded.
Yeah. So I can't wait for tonight. We're going to have, you know, like I stated, Jeromy Jones and Rowana. One thing we'd like to go ahead and tell you guys is the Phantasmic Journey Fishbowl, which is a project Paula came up with, so she will be more than happy to explain it to you.
Basically, on each episode, if we don't have a podcast, oh, Jim's birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Jim! A day early.
Oh yeah, happy birthday!
Happened to look up and saw that. The Paranormal Fishbowl is basically a question's going to get drawn out of the fishbowl. And it's one of those that you guys can call in and have your own personal response. If we happen to have someone on the air that can kind of go ahead and give their tidbit on what their opinion is. It's kind of a pro and con situation. There's no wrong answer. There's no right answer. It's just opinionated question. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a backlash situation, but I'm hoping everything be positive out of it, and hopefully it's a learning experience.
And of course you have to pick a number between 1 and 10, right?
Well, I'm just drawing the question out of the fishbowl, and you get to open it live.
Yeah, and we can also have other folks give us a call. If you guys want to call in and be part of the fishbowl, all you have to do is pick up the phone and dial 270-883-1297 and try your hand at the fishbowl and see what happens.
There will be a question on each episode.
Yep. So we're actually looking to get some teams to call in, and that way, you know, your team would be discussing the question. But I didn't quite get anybody just yet, so I mean, well, this is our first podcast, so we'll probably get some later on. We're going to have this podcast every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central, which is 10 p.m. Eastern, every Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
On a personal note, we've got a lot of stuff besides the podcast going on.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of stuff going on.
We've got an investigation this weekend. Of course, we're going to be in Biloxi next weekend.
Yep. Gulf Coast Paracon.
So we'll see Paula and Joe and all the other crew that's down there that's coming.
Yeah, there's too many people to
I
name.
know. I
there's
can't
a lot.
think. I know there's a lot, but I can't think of it. I know Keith Age is going to be there.
Yeah.
And I know. I think it's Selena.
James Anito is going to be there. Keith Age. Selena, April, Joe Vitale, Amber. Let's see. Jason's going to be there from Tex Paranormal with Dead Ted.
Yeah,
Dead Ted's coming back.
Yeah, he made sure he messages going, Dead Ted's coming with me. I was like,
oh
boy.
Yeah. There's James Anito. He's already in there. As long as he don't start talking about grapes, I'm good.
Oh, I could do another podcast on grapes.
No, we don't need to do grapes. I do believe, is Kevin and Randy from Deep South Paranormal going to be there at Gulf Coast Paracon?
I don't know
really
off the top of my head. I know they're going to be at the Haunted Bourbon.
Yes, I know that.
Because I saw the thing earlier today on Haunted Bourbon.
Yep, there goes James talking about grapes again. I don't know if you guys missed it or not, but while we were at SilCon just past weekend, we went ahead and did a live podcast, and we had some really cool guests. We had Bishop Stevens, we had James Anito, we had Tim Malley, we had
Santiago.
We had Keith Age, we had Bishop James Long. Who else did we have?
We had a couple of writers. We had a female producer.
No, beside the producer, who did you just get tickled pink about?
Oh yes, the voice behind the Gremlins. There is going to be a Gremlins 3. I can't wait.
Gizmo.
And it's going to be one of those. It's going to be more about the first. You know how the first Gremlins movie was compared to the second one. It's going to be more of the darkness of what the first movie was compared to what the second movie was. Even though the second movie was pretty cool, I like the different personalities of the Gremlins. But the first one, they're going back to that kind of field and that kind of area. So I'm pretty excited. I can't wait. They said the script has been written. They're waiting on getting the rights of getting it started to film.
Huh. Cool.
And Mark Dotson, which is the voice behind the Gremlins, says he can't wait for his callback.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how they're actually going to go ahead and do that. Is it going to be Billy's kids actually coming over for like a Christmas party.
Well,
or
the deal is, Billy, it's at the age now that it would probably be Billy's grandkids.
Yeah.
Because the fact
he's
Billy's
a grandpa.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because deal is, you got to realize when Gremlins came out, I think I was like 8, 9 years old when the Gremlins came out, and Billy was already, what, 15, 16 years old? The first one.
I don't know. He was working.
I know it was a Christmas
He was working
movie.
at a bank, so I'm pretty sure he was in his 20s.
Well, I'm pretty sure too, but the point of it is that did you realize both of those movies were filmed and they were considered Christmas movies?
Yeah, that's kind of funny. But yeah, I believe when he was working at the bank, he was in his 20s.
He was in his 20s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I just remember that, you know, he
was
a Christmas
in college,
present.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, Gizmo was a Christmas present.
Yes,
so.
it was. Gizmo was a Christmas present, and then it became Stripe.
Stripe was pretty cool. I liked the little stupid crazy one that had the funny looking eyeballs.
Yeah, what about the one that was dressed up as a girl in the theater?
Oh, that one was
the one that actually talked. It learned English.
Yeah.
Remember that? It actually learned English. That was interesting.
It tried to be a kind of freaky type situation of between being, what was the girl's name on Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh, Jessica Rabbit.
Between Jessica Rabbit and Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Let's see. What do we got going on? I know you all know that we are currently going to be filming a movie with a collaboration of GK Films and JV Productions, as well as our production company In the Shadows Entertainment Group. We're filming a movie called Lucy. And this is a story that is true to her heart from the St. Albans Sanatorium.
It's 5 years of research.
Yep, 5 years of research, and it turned into a movie. We've got a Hollywood producer involved in it, so once it gets completely shot, it will be put into the theaters sometime in 2019 is what we're shooting for.
Yeah.
Wow, that was like, yep.
Yep.
And of course, besides that, we are starting another pilot. We're going to be shooting a pilot in Old South Pittsburgh Hospital next year in March. It's going to be a 3-day shoot, so that's going to be pretty interesting. It's a new concept. It hasn't quite been done in the paranormal realm, so this should be pretty interesting for us to shoot.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So let's see what we've got.
We have Crime and Punishment Museum in October.
Oh yeah, we're actually going to have a meet and greet from 3 p.m. No, the 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. I believe, at the Crime and Punishment Museum. We're going to have a meet and greet, and then after that, we're going to go ahead and film. That's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait. Of course, Ashburn, Georgia is a town we've never quite been to.
Oh well, yeah. It's going to be a fun-filled weekend, especially for you.
Why for me?
Because you're going to be coming from St. Louis. We're going to have to leave straightly from
yeah.
St. Louis, come home, load up, then head out to Ashburn, Georgia, do our investigation, and then we have to do our lovely little pit stop on the way home.
Yeah, we're actually going to be making a stop at the location where they filmed Fried Green Tomatoes.
The whole little town still exists. The little restaurant that was in the movie, if you were a Fried Greens Tomatoes person, the cafe's still there. The old train station's still there. The Mercantile is still there. It's just like you're going to walk back in time. The church house is still there. And that movie was based off of a book, and the book was based off some true stories about that whole scenario. There was an Iggy Threadgood, and Iggy Threadgood is buried in that cemetery.
Really?
That's in that town.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yes, the beekeeper is still there.
I wonder if they have the whistle stop there where they have the huge chicken fried steak.
I have no idea, but I'm ready for some fried green tomatoes.
I'd be more happy with the chicken fried steak. We went to the whistle stop that was outside of Elizabethtown, Kentucky.
Yeah, it's outside Elizabethtown. It's in Covington. It's in it's called Culverton.
Culverton, Kentucky. Let's try that again. The chicken fried steak is like huge.
Huge.
That's what she said. But it's about that big. It is huge, and it's thick, too. It's like, holy cow. It covered up the entire plate. I was in seventh heaven. Everywhere we go, I always try chicken fried steak. We'll go to, like, Cracker Barrel. We'll go to, different places. Chili's and Longhorn Steakhouse or something like that. Always, or who else has chicken fried steak? We've been to a
Cracker
lot.
Barrel. We've been to
the
steakhouse. What's the steakhouse over there?
I have no idea.
Oh,
we miss you too, Sammy.
Oh, what's the name of the steakhouse? Texas Roadhouse.
Oh yeah, Texas Roadhouse. Yeah.
At Country Fried Steak.
Okay.
And I think we went to one restaurant out of town that had country fried steak, but I think you were a little disappointed on that one.
Probably. I don't know if you guys noticed, we got the Tascam sign back here.
Yeah.
We like to say thank you to Tascam for sponsoring our podcast. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be having this podcast. We're currently using the Tascam US42, which is an all-in-one. Let's see. Here you go. It is the Tascam Mini Studio Creator Audio Interface and Interface Audio. I'm playing Vanna White. There you go. Works really good. I was pretty impressed with it. I mean, it's just a little small box, and the power that this thing actually has, it's unbelievable. And the microphones that we're using is currently the TM60, which is a battery-powered condenser microphone. How's that? Look at that. These are pretty cool. We used these over at SoCon, and they worked out pretty well. I was pretty impressed. So, we should be getting a phone call momentarily here from Jeromy, and once we get him on the show, we will be talking about his products. Here's the thing, if you guys want to go ahead and look into some of the devices that he makes, you can go to Paranologies.com, or you can go to our website, which is www.gavinkelly. Yeah, wrong. Try that again. www.gavincountry.wix.com/I. It's in the Shadows Entertainment group, but it's using the first letter of each word.
Gotcha.
I wish we could actually have it back, but unfortunately we had phantasmicghosthunters.com, and the building that housed the server is gone. Howdy, Jarrett. How are you doing? Jarrett is the one when we talked to at SoCon.
Oh, okay. Hey, how's it going? We got Wayne on Facebook too. He's from the Crawford County Ghost Hunters.
Hey, Wayne, shout out to the Arkansas Ghost Hunters of Crawford County. How are you guys doing? So, yeah, unfortunately, our server that was housing that has gone. Irma went ahead and decided to take it for his personal collection. So
Irma or Harvey won. Did you know that
I'm not sure which one it was. It's one of them.
Speaking of Irma and Harvey, to put a little last note on that before I get her call in, do you know they actually ran into a married couple named Harvey and Irma?
Who did?
No, there's an old married couple they ran into. His name was Harvey and her name was Irma. Well, and they had been married for almost 55 years.
Wow. Well, you do remember Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin? They had the movies out called My Friend Irma, Irma Goes West, and all those. Oh man, those are hilarious.
Well, I just thought it was kind of cool that the husband and wife's name was Harvey and Irma, and they questioned and asked him. I said, "What do you think about this hurricane's name? You know, it got the same name as you." And I forgot how exactly they said it, but it was something like, "Well, we're not as wild and furious like we used to be."
Oh, jeez! Wow. Well, as you guys noticed, we are doing a podcast, but it is actually a video podcast. And what we're going to do is, after the podcast is done, we're doing Facebook Live, as you can see. We're also doing YouTube Live, so we have the best of both worlds. And the deal is, after the podcast is over, we'll go ahead and rip the audio off of the video, upload it as an audio file, and that way, for folks that want to drive in their cars and listen to podcasts and want to listen to the show, you're more than welcome to listen to the audio file. But we kind of thought it would be kind of cool to actually do video within our podcasts, because that way you can actually see devices that the creators are calling and talking about. Because, you know, usually they're talking about something and you're like, well, what does it look like? Well, you'll actually see it on this show.
It's
pretty soon.
9:20.
Okay, well, it's 9:20 and he hasn't called yet.
Did you give him a reminder?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. He should be calling. Oh, man. Alrighty. Maybe he got a little hung up on building a Poltercom. I know he released a video. Poltercom 51, I believe it was, he did a video on. Really?
What?
Jeromy says it's ringing. I don't see it ringing. No, it's not ringing. Yeah, I don't see anything yet. And he's calling 270-883-1297. It should be working. Let me check a few things here real quick. But yeah, it should be working. We went ahead and ironed out a lot of technical difficulties and everything, and we thoroughly tested everything too as well. So I'm not really sure why it's not working. Huh. It's really strange. Okay, we got the chat right there. Number is 270-883-1297. That's the number to call into the direct lines. Go ahead and see if Jeromy can get through. We're trying to get Jeromy Jones on the line here. Got Texas Ghost Hunters actually trying to get a hold of him. Yeah, he said it's ringing. I have no idea why it's not coming through. That's weird. Huh. That's really odd. Is it ringing again? Because it's not even coming through on our end at all. And the other thing is, if it wouldn't go through, you would go straight to voicemail.
Hold on. Let's see. You're calling through a cell phone, right?
Yeah, he's calling us directly.
Okay, Skype is Druid 1200.
We're not using Skype. He's calling directly into the system.
Okay.
Well,
I didn't know if he needed to put a 1 in front of it.
Go ahead and give me your number. I'll call you. We'll try that. I don't know why it's not going through. It should go through. Okay, try it again. Sorry, folks. We're trying to get Jeromy in here. He's trying. I don't know why it's not going through. There we go. It's coming through now. There we go. Now we got you.
Well, let's try this again.
Jeromy, how are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
We're doing pretty great.
Oh, we're doing better now since we got you on the show.
Yeah.
So, I'm not really sure what happened. I mean, we went ahead and tested this thing thoroughly. We wanted to make sure that we would not have any technical difficulties whatsoever. And, well, guess what?
Well,
it didn't quite work that way, did it?
well, I was so that may be what was going on.
Ah, okay. All right, well, go ahead and tell the listeners who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Jeromy. I'm the owner of Paranologies and also director of Texas Paranologies. My year investigating, I had designed and developed over 60 or 70 pieces of equipment just for investigation.
Hey, Jeromy, you're cutting in and out. Is that due to your Bluetooth headset?
I don't know. Hold on.
We're actually getting like every
Any
other
better?
word. Well, let's go ahead and try it
Yeah,
again.
it almost sounds. You guys are cutting out too.
Oh, that's weird. Are we?
Is this any better though? Maybe this is better.
Oh yeah, you sound much better now. How about us?
Okay. Yeah, a little better, a little jumpy, but we'll deal with it.
Okay.
So anyway, I'll start over. I started a company, Paranologies, back about 8 years ago, and that is due to development of about 50 or 60 items specifically for paranormal investigation. And almost all the ideas came to me from being an investigator myself, doing residential cases and such, and then developing something based off a problem that I had during an investigation. So that's where most of my items come from.
What was the problem that you had during the investigation?
Well, for instance, the temperscope is a hot and cold spot detector.
Right.
I developed it based off of an investigation I did where there were multiple cold spots throughout the house and they were moving. And so I wanted to visually see these things happening. So I developed the temperscope. We went back to that location about a month later with about 10 of these pods. And visually we could see where the hot and cold spots were going. As I like to develop a piece of equipment that you can visually have a representation of where the energy or temperature changes is moving.
Right.
So that you can kind of follow them into a room or whatever and do your EVP session there. I see you're holding the periscopes.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
we gotta show your product off. I'll play
Yeah.
Vanna.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna play Vanna.
Yeah, I'm gonna play Vanna.
I thought I was gonna play Vanna.
Oh,
Okay.
you
You can play Vanna. Go ahead.
You'll be a nice looking Vanna.
No, I don't think so. Yep, I got the 360 and she got the regular one.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are my most popular sensor. They're almost everywhere now. I developed those about 7 years ago also, just trying to find static fields throughout a house. We put them in doorways and stairways and things like that and try to follow static fields in a series. And they do a really good job of visually leading you to a certain room or something like that. Or you can also answer yes or no questions with different colors, etc. So I know you guys use them all the time.
Oh, we've had a couple of pretty good results with them.
Oh yeah, over at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, we actually had some strange things happening with the 360, where all of a sudden we thought we were talking to a nurse. This is before we actually heard the loud banging on the doors after the EKG and went flatline. All of a sudden it like started at red and it made its way all the way to green and then stopped. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I know
Yeah.
we've been seeing these things on like Ghost Asylum, and now it's on Haunted Town. So your Paranology equipment really making its rounds.
Yeah, it is. That's y'all's hometown, isn't it? Like those boys are from Tennessee, aren't they?
Yeah, they're from Gallatin, Tennessee, but right now we are in Kentucky. So my hometown is Pasadena, California. Her hometown's Paducah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Paducah, Kentucky.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been getting around, especially on those two shows. Now there's two major shows coming out here in the next couple months. They're going to have quite a bunch of quite a bit of the Paranologies gear as well. And I'm thankful to actually get it out there. It's taken a while, but finally.
Oh yeah,
You know,
well,
it's finally getting out there.
It's actually used in our show as well, so you'll be seeing it once it comes
Oh,
out
yeah.
October 31st this year as a new original series on Amazon. So that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I can't wait. That is going to be cool. You guys have used my stuff for, I mean, I've known you for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
Since
Many
the beginning
years.
of Paranologies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at this. I have the original PDA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is the one where you have the little battery thing on it where there is no tripod mount. This is the original PDA.
Yeah.
That's how long I've known you.
Yeah, that is. Man, you need to send that up for an upgrade.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I need to send these up, too, for an upgrade, too, because these are the 9 volts.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I've changed everything to the double A's. And by the way, anybody that has, you know, the 9-volt version, it's free of charge to change it to the double A.
Oh,
So I went through that period of time where people wanted double A and then 9-volt, and so we're just going to stick with the double A's.
yeah.
Yeah, double A's are easier to come by than 9 volts.
Oh, God, yes.
Because 9 volts,
Oh, yeah.
pricing on 9 volts has gotten ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, you're telling me.
I know.
Man.
Yeah,
But the
it's
one
been
thing
crazy.
One
Like,
thing I like about this is
a lot of...
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying a lot of the equipment builders you can see are going to battery charged lithiums, like internal batteries. And problem with that is, number one, if the battery goes dead, you're out. And number two, you're really not supposed to ship lithiums across, you know, they catch fire and things like that if possible. So
Oh, lovely.
we stay away from the lithiums.
Well, usually what we do is we use rechargeable 9 volts.
Yeah.
I think that's what's in here. Yeah, here it is. No, those are Rayovacs. Oops. My bad. But the one thing I like is, I don't know if a lot of your other people are using these or not. Remember the base that you made for me? So we can actually mount these to tripods.
Right, yeah. No, I think that's one of the only ones in existence, actually.
Because we used this with the tripod at the Monroe house, and it was kind of tilted at an angle just slightly, and we were like getting activity on it, which is really cool because you're actually getting something from underneath it and then around it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask you. So most of these are used on the ground, so you've gotten pretty good results being up a little higher.
Yeah, we did. Yep, put it up on a tripod.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the tripod's only about maybe a foot tall, so it's really not far. I mean, we're not going to put it on those ones that's like, you know, 62 inches or something like that. We're just using the real small
Right.
ones, or the little mini, the black leg ones. We do that.
Yeah. So what I've also got a piece of equipment coming out. It's called the Periscope Stratum, and what it is, it's I was doing an investigation and I decided to stack 3 360 periscopes on top of each other.
Oh wow!
And it was really cool because not only did it go off on the bottom or whatever, but you could kind of make out a shape with it. So this new version is going to be about a 2-foot tower. It's going to have 4 periscope sensors in it.
Wow!
So not only it'll be horizontal and vertical.
Oh, cool.
So it'll be really cool.
That sounds cool.
And they'll be stackable, so you can, if you buy more than one, you could stack it as high as you want. My view would be to have it like the height of a human. It'd be really cool to have a human outline.
Oh wow!
To stack, that'd be awesome.
Kind of gives you paranormal Legos.
Paranormal Lego.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sounds like a warranty nightmare.
No kidding. So go ahead and tell the listeners about your Poltercom. I just saw your video earlier today that
Sure.
you released another one.
Yeah, and actually the TWC guys were on that feed after I looked back on it. It was pretty cool. They were watching out because I sent them a progeny to use. But the Poltercom it's a spirit box, and unlike other spirit boxes, most spirit boxes they scan through frequencies, usually in one direction, and you can adjust the speed of that. And most of them are very noisy too. They have a lot of, like static and stuff, and
Right.
it's kind of annoying. I've always actually hated ghost boxes. sounds funny.
Mm-hmm.
But up until about a year and a half ago, they've been getting really popular, and so I decided, I need to get into this game and try to make something that put my spin on it and try to correct all these issues that I've been seeing. Number one is, the sound. It had to sound really clean. Right. I wanted to hear the responses and not have to play it back over and over, trying to make out words of what may or may not be there. And then number two, I knew that it had to be, I wanted to be controlled by sensors that monitor the environment.
Okay.
Not just some random voices that come through, that might possibly hit at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of theories on the spirit box, and a lot of them say that if you set it at a certain speed, then they'll learn the speed and they'll just start jumping in. But I wanted to give the spirits an opportunity of other ways that haven't been developed yet to communicate. So by that, I hooked up basically a robotic motor. It's called a stepper motor. It's controlled by whatever you want to input into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the most popular sensor, of course, is the periscope to input into it. And if it detects a static field, then the spirit can actually stop it on a frequency or control the dial themselves. So you can also turn off the motor, and you can actually manually sweep it as well. I've seen some sessions where people do a manual sweep, and they've gotten really good results. So it does a lot. It does manually sweep. You can make it go really slow. You can make it go super fast. It's controllable by the environment. The other cool thing that I like is it has what's called an FM modulator inside.
Okay.
And what this does is it broadcasts FM frequencies through the radio waves. And so I have a microphone on it, and when I speak, my questions are actually being broadcast through the airwaves.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of reverse of what we're listening to. So, but yeah, it's there's a ton of other things like features and themes that I can do to it, and I've kind of put the steampunk Paranologies style to it. So, but it's been crazy. I've only had them out for a little over a year, and we're over 50 now.
Yeah.
So
I think
it's been quite an adventure.
Yeah, I think you are showing off 51 today, weren't you?
Yeah, that was 51. That was his, and he got lucky on that because his Dave's company is called Areas 51,
mm-hmm.
or 51 Areas. So it just happened to land on that.
Oh wow, cool. That's pretty cool. I actually got to see one firsthand over at the Gettysburg Ghost Exchange. Otherwise, I've never seen one up close.
Right, yeah, that's number 2.
That was pretty cool. I'm just like, holy crap, that thing it was like, I couldn't believe how big it was. I'm like, good God, I wonder how long it takes to make that on your 3D printer.
Oh man, yeah, it's crazy. It takes about 30 to 40 hours to print. And of course, there's probably another 5 hours of customization after that, trying to get the detail work. My wife does most of the detail work.
Good Lord.
And then the electronics take another 4 to 5 hours, and then so yeah, it's quite a build. It's not like I can just push a button and get these things out.
So on an average, on a typical week, it takes you about a week to make one?
It does, but then the problem comes, like I have now, where I've got about 15 people waiting. so if I sell 3 or 4 a week, then that pushes out to about 5 or 6 weeks. But I stopped selling them about a month ago. I only sell 1 a week now, just to kind of slow it down to get everybody caught up.
Right.
But I offer now what's called a rush shipping option. And you can pay an additional fee and have it shipped out within a week.
Oh, wow.
So for those that want it for like an upcoming investigation or something.
Man, if you get 4 people doing that, you're in trouble.
Yeah, then I'm going to have to hire a whole lot more. I've got 2 employees right now, so.
Oh, wow.
We're barely keeping up, but I'm probably going to have to add a couple more soon.
Well, the question is how many 3D printers do you have up and running?
Right, yeah, we have 6.
Oh wow.
We have 6 3D printers going, and then I really need 10 of them because we print different materials. Like I just got some filament that's embedded with wood.
Oh, wow.
So it's like 90% wood, and I can print it out, and you can heat it up, you can stain it, you can do all that stuff. And
oh, cool.
problem is when you start mixing materials between the printers, you got to clean them out thoroughly, and it's kind of a pain. So I like to have dedicated printers for copper, brass, bronze, and wood, and then the regular items. So.
Yeah, we were actually looking into possibly getting a 3D printer, because what we'd like to do is actually make replicas of the locations we've been to and create models of them is what we'd like to do.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great idea.
But the sad thing is you can only use one color. I mean, you can't do multiple colors.
Yeah.
It's only one color.
Right, yeah. They have there's ways around that. The way I do it is as the filament's feeding in, if I need to change color, I cut the filament and then load the new color live.
Ah, okay.
And then they have the more expensive printers will actually have it's a opaque filament, so it just comes out kind of opaquish, but it uses a inkjet technology where it needs it, it just shoots ink into the filament live.
Huh.
And so you'll start seeing that, and so you can pretty much do any color, but they need to come down in price before I invest in those.
Oh yeah, those things are pretty pricey, that's for sure. I mean, just what we want to do with it is kind of ridiculous. But I actually got to see not a laser printer, but a 3D printer in action last weekend at SilkCon. They're making these little pumpkin heads for a movie that Heroic Studios is going to be working on, and they had this real huge one that they made, and then they were making these little teeny ones, and I mean, she said it takes 6 hours just to build one that's maybe yay tall.
It's incredible. You think 10 years from now, I mean, they'll be able to do that in 5 minutes compared to what it is from now. The technology is advancing so much, but even like that 360 periscope you had in your hand took 6 hours to print.
Good Lord.
And
this one right here
it depends on resolution and things like that, but
wow.
Yeah, it's not as fast as injection molding, which injection molding is the most common type of plastic manufacturing there is.
Right.
You can pop out 100 molds in like 10 minutes, probably less. But the cool thing about having a 3D printer for my, what I do, is that if I do an investigation this weekend and I see something that needs a change, I can change it to the computer, print it, and be done with it. Injection molding, you have to have casts that are like 10 grand each, and every time you change one of those, you got to buy another cast. So.
Oh wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man. So, are you doing any events anywhere?
Yeah, actually, I've got a couple investigations coming up. Jefferson is going to be probably, I think, the first week of November. Jefferson, Texas. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but it's one of the most haunted towns here in Texas. It's incredible.
We got pulled over in Jefferson, Texas.
Why is that name always haunted?
Yeah, it's Paula. We were on our way to Corpus Christi, Texas, to the USS Lexington. Made a stop in Jefferson, Texas to go check out the Grove. And it was dark, so we're out there taking pictures of it, and then we just leave. It's probably about 7 o'clock at night, maybe 8 o'clock, and we're listening to the GPS, and GPS said, get into the left lane. Okay, no big deal. We get into the left lane. We got pulled over. Cop goes, you know why I stopped you? We're like, no, why? He goes, well, because you were driving in the passing lane only. I'm like, she's like, the GPS told me to go into the left lane. Now, here's the best part. He's looking in the back of the truck going, what is all this stuff? I told him we're ghost hunters. He goes,
God.
He goes, yeah, right. So then I gave him a business card, and he goes, oh, you really are. Holy cow. Hey, have you checked out the Grove? I'm like, we just came from there. and you pulled us over. It was funny. I couldn't believe that.
Oh, that explains it.
Yeah. but yeah, Jefferson,
Oh
Texas
man,
looks
yeah,
pretty cool.
I'm friends with Mitchell that owns the Grove. That place is pretty cool.
Oh wow.
I mean, you could spend like, I love Jefferson. You know, the Pride House, which was the very first bed and breakfast in Texas, was actually located in Jefferson, and it burnt down a few years back, and that was my favorite spot. I went there every so often and did guest investigations and things, and when that burnt down, I was devastated. But I now own like a lot of the pieces from that house that I've salvaged. They're in my living room.
Oh wow.
Huh.
So we get a lot of cool stuff from that. But yeah. So I'm doing it's called History, Haunts, and Legends. That's in Jefferson. Come up November, and then October I'm actually doing. There's a house down here in Texas called Haunted Hill House. It actually went viral not too long ago. He was trying to sell it, and just whenever I was seeing that house everywhere. But it's got some pretty cool stuff there. I'm doing a guest investigation there, second week of October, I believe, and then I'm actually doing a big investigation coming up in it's in November as well. That's going to be in Oklahoma. John Zaffis is going to be there, and
Oh wow.
a couple other few people that we haven't announced yet.
That's pretty
But
cool.
that'll be pretty cool. So yeah, my schedule's booked.
Huh. We actually got a question in the chat room here. What is your opinion on people copying haunted objects with 3D printers? The theory is that it duplicates the haunting too.
Yeah, so that's actually a good question. Whenever you guys were telling me that you were going to replicate the places you visited, I was thinking in my head that very same thing. And I'm not too sure. You know, I haven't tested this theory, and maybe something, since I have a 3D printer readily available, I could test.
Oh yeah.
So I don't really have a good answer for you, but I do know that, you know, I also have a ton of antiques in this house, and there's no doubt that there's things attached to it. And the question is, you know, if you replicate those things, can they attach themselves to that, or are they embedded into that object? I don't know. So the answer is I really don't know. And you know, I'd be worried. I'd be willing to try it. But I was thinking for you guys' investigation, like for trigger objects and things like that, you know, I think it'd be useful in the field if you're trying to get some interactions. 3D print something that maybe is not available nowadays.
Right.
Just 3D print it and see if you get something like that. So that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I noticed that you like going different places and saying, "Oh, this is going home with me." I mean, you've been picking up a lot of stuff, especially that box camera. That was pretty impressive.
Oh man, yeah. I am running out of room. Stuff is overflowing into our kids' rooms. It's crazy, but I have always had an affinity for antiques. My dad got me into it. He always took me as a kid and bought some antique stuff, and so that kind of spilled over. But it also went along to, you know, paranormal investigating things. Kind of that goes together because of how old things are, and then and spirit attachment and things like that. So we're all just one happy family.
Yeah, I was starting to wonder about that. All those artifacts that you're buying and bringing into your house, how many attachments are really attached to those artifacts?
Yeah, we bring people over here every weekend to investigate. We have some pretty solid names that come through, not only on like EVP sessions, but through the Poltercom and things like that. And recently we've had an attachment to I have a ton of dolls. I've got like probably 75 to 100 dolls that I collect.
Wow.
And recently we've had a spirit attachment to one of the dolls that the Poltercom labeled his name as Eddie. And so, yeah, we've had some really cool stuff happen with this doll. I've taken him several places, done live feeds. He moves by himself on the live feeds. So it's pretty cool. There's obviously a child spirit attached, because every time I try to get interaction out of this doll, I ask the child spirit to come forward. But I don't have anything negative in the house, which is good. I mean, I have 5 kids, and they are all very much aware of what we do, and some of them are very involved too as well during conventions and some investigations and stuff. So
well, here's a question.
They love doing it as well.
Well, here's a question for you. We usually do ask this to a lot of people. Age range. What is your thoughts on letting a child or a preteen go on a ghost hunt to a haunted location? What are your thoughts on that?
Right. Now, I think this question is going to vary dependent upon what the child is exposed to. Our kids they have to be exposed to it because we own the business and they hear us talking about it and things like that. So they're exposed at a young age. One of them, we have a 9-year-old that we keep very close to our side. She doesn't go to residential investigations. She does go to like the conventions and things, and our oldest is 15, and out of all the kids, the 9-year-old asks the best EVP questions you can think of. She's great. Oh yeah. She's deep into it. She's very well of all the things that go on.
Huh.
However, I wouldn't take her to an investigation that I know nothing about, as far as just a fresh residential where you don't have any evidence, you don't know if there's anything negative there, whatever. So the investigation she goes to us with is at Jefferson. I've been there hundreds of times. I know the locations. I know what's in each place, and so I feel like it's safe to take my daughter at that age to something like that. It's more fun for her, and as she gets older, of course, she'll be ready for like residentials and things.
Right.
I haven't taken any of my children on a residential case, matter of fact, yet. Just for everything I just said. You don't want to expose them to something that may end up scaring them, just like the homeowners. So they all pretty much stay where they are. But I would think 16, 17, I'll probably take the boys or whatever, and they can help set up tech and slowly start to get them involved that way.
Yeah, well, the only reason why I brought that up is because we kind of feel that someone that's at a younger age is more likely to get an attachment, because if there is a child spirit within that location, they may attach themselves to the youngster, and the next thing you know, they're taking it home with them. That's what I'm, that's the reason why we go ahead and say, it'd be kind of a bad idea to bring a kid to an investigation.
Yep, because most of your, the residential investigations I do are probably 90% poltergeist activity style haunts. And a lot of those have child attachments to them. The homeowner says that their younger child has an attachment or is involved in some way with this spirit. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't. That's why I said I wouldn't bring my younger daughter to anything like that. So yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. Well, alrighty then. We're going to go ahead and give you a chance to drop the plug here and let people know where they can find you and learn more about you, and also your website. And we'll go ahead and put some links on our webpage as well.
All right. So the best way to find me would be Facebook. It's Facebook.com/Jeromy Jones, and that is JEROMY JONES. And then we also have, that's my personal page, which I do a lot of my business interaction with as well. But we have a Paranologies page on Facebook, which is Facebook.com/Paranologies, PARANOLOGIES.
All right.
And then you can find, of course, for websites, you can go to Paranologies.com. That's where all the equipment that we're talking about tonight, plus a lot more, and I've got a lot of new pieces coming out in the next couple of weeks. So Paranologies.com is where you can find all that cool stuff. And then you can email me, paranologies@yahoo.com, for any questions you may have.
All right, man. Well, we enjoyed having you on the show, and thanks for all the information and everything. And of course, you know that I do have a store set up on our website where someone goes ahead and wants to purchase your product. It automatically goes directly to your website. So that's had been set up. And it's been running for quite some time. I don't know if a lot of people have been jumping on that yet, but it's there. But we thank you for coming on the show, and good luck with everything, and maybe we'll run into you at some event in the future.
Yeah, no, I hope so. I appreciate you guys, and I will talk to y'all later.
All right, then. You have a good one.
You too.
All right. Well, all righty, folks. That was Jeromy Jones, the creator of the Paranologies equipment. And I believe we're having Rowana calling in. Hey, Rowana, that's you? Hello? Where'd she go? Huh. Think we maybe need to try that again. Disappeared. Oh, man. Go ahead and try this again. So we are currently waiting on Rowana to give us a call. She will fill us in with information about the Hartford City Jail, Hartford City Speakeasy, and a new location that she just received. Uh-oh, she left a voicemail. Go ahead and you need to tell her to call again. Yeah, tell her to try again. I went ahead and clicked on accept, and it looked like it just didn't take it at first, so I'm not really sure.
Alright, I'm messaging. Try again.
It's really bizarre.
Yeah,
I mean, we tested this thing thoroughly before we even went on. It's kind of weird, but you know, have you ever really seen a show that's 100% perfect? I haven't. Everybody has audio difficulties and issues, but you know, thus far I think it's going pretty good for our first podcast, so we're giving you a glimpse of what's yet to come. So, but yeah, we're going to be trading our Paranologies Periscope 360 and regular one in to get the AAA version, or the AA version, I mean, because like we stated earlier, 9 volts is just a pain in the butt to you know, buy. So, but we shall see.
Let me see if I can. She's calling me. Hello.
Looks like she's trying to get through and it's not going through.
Call that number again. We went to click on it. For some reason, it hung up on my end or your end.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Okay. Try it again.
Yeah,
Try that number again.
yeah, try that number again. If anybody else wants to go ahead and call in and talk to us, 270-883-1297 is the number to get to us directly. Haven't had an issue with this number before, but it's really odd.
But let Rowana try to call in first.
She's calling that one.
No, not this one.
She calling the cell phone.
Hello. 270-883-1297. And it's not going through? Oh, you're calling my private number.
Yeah, she's calling your cell phone.
It's going to my phone.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's odd. Huh.
Okay. Well, it's supposed to go through the... Hold on.
Yeah, that's not right. That's bizarre.
Okay. Alright, he's trying something else. He's supposed to go through
Yeah,
the other line.
I'm refreshing this line here. That's really bizarre. It shouldn't even go to your phone.
Okay, we're going to try it again. Make sure you call 270-883-1297.
Wow.
All right, we're going to try it one more time. Okay.
We may have to probably try to figure out how to get a new number. This is bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean,
she called that and it went to my phone for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why it would go to your phone. That's bizarre. It should go straight to the system. I mean, Jeremy's went straight to the system.
Call her. Is there a way you can call her?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call her. Hold on. Give me that number. What is it?
765.
Wait, don't say it aloud. All right, I'm going to try that. See if that works.
Hello?
Okay, I'm going to try that. I'm going to call you.
It seems to work better.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened. Jeremy had trouble trying to get a hold of us, and he tried, I don't know what, 3 or 4 times, and then finally it went through. So I'm not really sure what's going on. I mean, we tested this system thoroughly before we even went live, and everything was working. So I have no idea.
Oh, we'll just blame it on a solar flare or something.
There you go.
Well, we now have Rowana Ray on. Glad for you to join us.
Hi.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Just keeping busy with the locations and just having a good time, really.
All right. Well, go ahead and tell the listeners who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Rowana Ray, and I manage the Randolph County Asylum and the Hartford City Jail and the Hartford City Speakeasy. And we're just really keeping busy this time of year. September and October are really starting to fill up fast. You know, it's that time of year when everyone wants to get in that last-minute investigation before winter gets here.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
How did you enjoy your visit at the jail? I can't wait to see what evidence you came up with.
Oh, it's been interesting. The jail, we've got a couple of things, but you know when we did the walkthrough with you at the Speakeasy?
Yes.
We got EVPs during our interview.
Yep.
I don't doubt that. I hope they were good ones.
According to our producer, they were pretty decent.
And besides that...
No, I was talking about language-wise. They're pretty ornery up there. Yeah, it's kind of underrated. That place is very active.
Okay, for viewers who do not know about these locations, tell me a little bit of something about the Hartford and the Speakeasy that we just did.
Well, the Hartford City Jail, forgive me, I can't remember what year it was built. Do you remember? It's 1897, I think.
1892.
And,
1892. 1892.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's been fully restored, as both of you know. You go through, and it's just like you're stepping back in time. And it's quite an active location from what I hear, but I actually don't go there very often, so I haven't collected any evidence myself. And the Speakeasy is in Hartford City also, about a block and a half from the jail. And it's kind of interesting because Hartford City seems to just hold this energy between the Speakeasy, the courthouse, the jail, and the Monroe House. It's
yes, it does.
All 4 locations.
Yes, it does. It's like Hartford City is our Shepherdstown.
Yes, it's odd, but it is just right there in a line within what, 2-block area?
Well, if you actually look at the map and draw a line, it's almost a perfect line from all 3 locations.
Yeah, it is.
I agree, and I've heard that the courthouse is haunted as well, but that's yet to be investigated. The Speakeasy just a lot of EVPs caught shadow people on video. And there's a rumor that someone saw a lady sitting in the coffee shop below the Speakeasy, and then they did a double take, and it was actually a ghost.
Oh, wow.
So it's just very interesting.
Now, for the Speakeasy, I know that I had talked to you about during the walkthrough, there's not really a lot of evidence, or not evidence, but historical information about the building. We are going by what was said and what stories that was told to you about it.
Yes.
Can you relay in, I know it's Prohibition time years, but can you relay in on any of the stories that was told to you about the place?
Well, I've heard that there was a dance hall up there. And I have caught an EVP of old-time music, like that era of time, which I just couldn't explain, and that was caught by accident. And supposedly they had the Speakeasy over in the far right side of it, and of course, you know, just like they did back then, when the police would come in to raid the place, they would pull down, you know, certain doors and so forth, and just hide everything. I'd like to do some more research personally on Speakeasies. You probably know a lot more about them than I do, but it was a very interesting era of time.
Well, it was the first Speakeasy I've ever been to, but I kind of like the Hartford City Jail. Joe got scratched there. I'm not sure exactly what he was doing. I believe he was taunting, wasn't he?
I have no idea.
But he got a nice scratch.
Well,
right down,
there you go.
he got a scratch right down the middle of his back, going from his neck down. And he's like, I feel a burning sensation. And I'm like, oh, great. So he pulls up his shirt, and sure enough, he got a scratch. One thing that was really weird is we wound up setting up it's a motion sensor that has, it's a 360 motion detector with a laser grid. So whenever it detects motion, the laser grid fires off into that general direction. And Paula was asking questions about a guy that was hung there. What was his name?
He was part of a, he helped rob he was part of the mafia from Chicago. And he helped rob the bank in Montpelier, I think is what the story I found out about it. And he hung himself in the jail. To prevent him to testify in court, he killed himself.
Yeah, because what happened is all of a sudden the motion detector went off and it fired a laser off to that cell. And it stayed there.
Wow.
And I went in there a couple times just to see if it was an issue, and all of a sudden it would pick me up and it would go away. So then she started asking questions again about whoever that person was, and then boom, went right back to that jail cell. I was like, okay, so that must be his jail cell. That's what we came.
What jail cell was it? I mean, is it something that you can, like, do you remember what cell it was?
It's the very last one that they converted to where they took the inner cell off of it and put it on the outside because they considered it the, if you were too drunk or intoxicated, they put you in that cell so you wouldn't disturb the rest of the inmates that was there. And I know at one time when it was back in the day, at the time of prohibitions, I'm surely that was, you know, hooked on to the regular jail hall there instead of what they did do to it.
Yeah, there's a big heavy-duty metal door there, black door.
I have heard that, yes, I know the area you're talking about then. I have heard that they actually did hangings right outside of the excuse me, the west side of the jail, which is just really, I forgot to mention that. Or actually, I didn't give you the tour of the jail, did I?
No, Alan did.
I don't know
if
it was mentioned to you or not.
Yeah, Dan did.
Yeah, Dan did.
Yes. It's just really odd to think back in those times, you know, and the things that they did and that we're able to capture the evidence that we do.
Well, one thing that really freaked me out is going up into the attic and you can actually see the hangman's noose right there.
that attic creeps me out.
Yes, it does.
I've never felt comfortable up there.
One thing that was really bizarre is we were sitting there well, actually, Paula was sitting in front of the chalkboard that's on the floor, and she wanted to play tic-tac-toe. And I was pointing a camera at the Hangman's Noose. We had a digital recorder on the floor where we were asking questions, and after we got done, it looked like that we saw little fingerprints on the chalkboard that weren't there.
Interesting. Yeah, I've sensed that there was a little girl up there. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I was up there once when somebody else was doing an investigation, and I believe we heard something that sounded like a little girl,
mm-hmm.
and then you that electric static charge that gets in the air sometimes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That can't. Was going on, and both of my cheeks were all staticky, and I was like, I'm out of here. So I actually went downstairs. So I haven't spent much time up there, but it was quite an experience when I did.
Mm-hmm. So have you investigated the jail before?
No, I actually... Well, I say I don't investigate. I do try to validate things
mm-hmm.
because I work in so many haunted locations. So if I sense something or hear something, I'll start recording, but I don't investigate. So for me to have an experience, a location is normally pretty active.
Yeah, we were down in the dungeon, and we were filming Dan talking about the history of the dungeon down there, and for a split second I swung around with the camera rig because I thought I saw something up in the corner, and well, Joe was like, you're just hearing things. Well, theoretically no, because I'm half deaf, and all of a sudden it's I saw something that looked like a shadow that darted around the corner, and I'm just like, oh my god, what the heck was that? But I don't disagree with you at all, because I was giving a tour and someone was looking at the end of a tunnel down there, and I took a picture, and it's impossible. The light was between myself and that person, so it was impossible for it to cast the shadow, and I caught something dark in between us. And it was a pretty creepy photo. There's something down in that basement or dungeon, there's something down there. Oh yeah, I believe it. I mean, it's cold and it's kind of damp, and that one area kind of freaked me out. The water was reflecting on the ground, it was reflecting the surroundings, and it made it look like when you walked in there, it's like, oh, there is a hole right there, but it wasn't. It looked really weird that there was a drop. The water was
I did watch a video of an investigation that was done down there, and a girl got bit.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And I saw that video, and I sure couldn't debunk it.
Oh no, I
mean, it seemed real, and it was a small bite, not a large one.
Right. I mean, if I saw that myself, I don't even know what I would do. I'd probably freak out, because that's just crazy. A bite appears from out of nowhere on your arm.
Well, when I was at the Speakeasy, I got a bruise on my leg in where the dance hall is, or not the dance hall, but where the room where the bar setup is.
Oh, where I had the thermal running?
In that room.
Yeah. Joe had to stop and take a picture of my leg because I kept feeling like something, because I was not really taunting. I was trying to encourage. I call it encouraging, not taunting.
Okay.
Social interaction. And I was like, what kind of music would you like to listen to? And then I was like, I didn't bring an actual bottle of alcohol. I brought a bottle of an old-fashioned sarsaparilla bottle that had actual sarsaparilla in it.
That's why you got kicked. It was fake.
And I had set up a whole little, a scheme of an area, and had everything, set up. I put the 360 in there.
Yep.
And we had the
Thermal.
the thermal, the DR100, and everything set up. We had everything to where we could square it away. And I was out there going, okay, anybody want to play poker? Anybody want a little shot? Anybody want a little dancing? I was trying to encourage anything that we feel, whatever's your game, let's play. And that's when all of a sudden I felt this sensation like someone just smacked me on my leg, and then I pulled up my pants leg, and it was like red, like someone had smacked me one right there on the leg.
Wow.
Well, like I said.
Well, I do know a team was in there, and he had on shorts, and he was in the hallway there just to the side of that room, and he said it felt like a hand just reached down and grabbed his leg, and he about jumped out of his skin. It really startled him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you actually feel something that's coming from nowhere, you can't see it. I mean, you're going to totally freak out. I mean, for like me, we did an investigation a long time ago, and we were actually like walking into a cemetery. This is hilarious. She peed a little. But anyway, I felt a hand just kind of cup my shoulder, and there was nobody there around me, and I felt it. It felt just like that. The thumb was kind of by my neck, and then the hands just kind of cupped on over my shoulder. And I'm just like, I am being touched right now, and there's nobody here. So we walk up a little further, and there's these birds that are doing something in the ground. What are they doing?
They were the nesting builders. That we didn't know that they were in the cemetery, and they had burrowed holes into the ground, and they make their nest in the ground. We stumbled up on a couple of them unexpectedly. Didn't know they were there. I have to admit, it was in the dark, and they flew up in our face.
She screamed.
Oh gosh.
She screamed. She peed. It was hilarious.
Well, I mean, I wasn't expecting something to fly up in my face like that.
But
goodness.
Ever since that, I mean, we've all had our fair share. She finally got scratched at the Malvern Manor in Malvern, Iowa. I got kicked in the shin and scratched on the palm at St. Albans Sanatorium. I didn't get anything at the jail. I didn't get anything at the Speakeasy. The Monroe House. I swore I saw an old man with a beard in the Devil's Toy Box mirror, because I took a double take, and you can actually see me do that on the camera, that I took a double take, that there was something there. But Hartford is definitely a haunted location, and I think that we want to go ahead and come back up there sometime. I know we are going to see you at the Randolph County Asylum in December. Can't wait for that. That's going to be really cool.
Oh, yes, you're going to love it. Everyone that visits there loves it, and it's so active. It's 24/7. It can be. You can get just as much evidence during the day as you can at night. It's that active.
Oh, wow.
It's just incredible. And being in there a lot and not investigating myself, I've just tried to work out a mutual respect with the spirits that are there. And I know that they follow me while I work, sometimes 2 or 3, and so when I'm with somebody new, I will record, and then I'll play it back, and sure enough, there's 2 EVPs right there. They're interacting, and so there's more than just residual haunting there. It's an intelligent haunting, and they want to pipe right in on the conversation, like give their opinion.
Right.
And smells. There's been all kinds of smells, and personally, I've smelled cherry pipe tobacco, and there's no smoking in there. And
Okay.
a couple weeks ago, strong smell like sugar cookies.
Ooh, my favorite.
And just last week, I was going through with a new tour guide, and we smelled rubbing alcohol.
Oh, wow.
And I said something, and she turned around, and she smelled it, and I thought, okay, time to take video. And no sooner than I started taking video, started with my cell phone, we caught a EVP where a man says, "Don't like alcohol."
Ha! That's pretty cool.
And then, yes, then her and I said a few words back and forth, and said, "Is there a nurse with us?" And a different entity said, "No." So I thought, okay, here I am trying to train her, and we've got two of them, and she just heard them. I thought she was going to run out the door. You know, this is her first time there, so I'm glad she's still with us.
Yeah, otherwise
and
you'd make
she
your
actually,
own door.
Pardon me?
I said, otherwise you'd make your own door right through a wall.
Yes, well, it's like, okay, you passed the first test for being a guide here. you can tell that they're active and they follow you around. So, but it's a very interesting place. You can ask them to give you a knock or shut a door, and you're going to get it. Most of the time, anyway. If you're someone that they want to interact with.
Right. Yeah, we got a new device that we're actually going to go ahead and try at the Randolph County Asylum. It's a 3-tone box called a Dandy box or Dandy box?
Dandy box.
Dandy box. And it's similar to the same thing where you just stated about, can you go ahead and, you know, mimic me, knock 3 times? Well, this, you actually just moved a little pendulum and it makes a sound, and you basically say, can you go ahead and make that sound the same way? You can use it as a yes, no, and a maybe box, which is really cool. We picked it up at Silicon last weekend, and I've seen it work in action, and it should be pretty cool. So instead of saying, can you knock 3 times? Well, can you make this sound? So it's kind of easier. Instead of doing knocking, all you got to do is just move the pendulum, and it'll sound.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how your investigation goes there, because when you ask them to knock 3 times, you're probably going to get an EVP that says, well, of course I can. You know, it's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah, we can't wait. It's probably going to be cold in December, isn't it? Probably going to freeze.
Well, maybe not. He's actually working on getting a furnace installed in the front part, and we're going to try to make it more comfortable for everyone this winter.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes, and if people still want to investigate. Now, the rest of the asylum, I mean, it would just be an enormous bill to heat that big of a building.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
You know, over 50,000 square feet and old windows and so forth. But there will be quite a bit of comfortable area to sleep and sit in and eat and, you know, to get warm.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. But we are actually just ecstatic to actually get there. But can you talk about your new location yet? Or is that kind of under wraps?
Ooh, which one?
The new one that you just obtained. You got the deed for.
Oh, well, it's pretty cool. I'm not going to let all the little neat things out, but it was built in 1894.
Okay.
And it is just, well, actually the mayor today called it the cornerstone of the community, because it's a prime location in Winchester, Indiana. And this building has seen quite a bit of history. The police station, which used to be basically a police box, sat right on the corner of this building, and there was a criminal that was shot right out there in front and laid in the street for a while. And this is back in the 30s, I think 1933, just off the top of my head. And then the police chief was shot in that also. and he went on to the hospital and later died, but the criminal that was passenger in the car actually died, fell out of the car or pushed by the driver, and fell out in the street and died, and everybody started fighting over his gun.
Oh, wow.
And he was a criminal from Dayton.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few other circumstances that have happened there, and then there's a few rumors. So someone's doing some research on the building so that I don't give out any false information, but I've really heard quite a few stories. And the upstairs used to be a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and I found out that the basement, I found this out after I had already said that I was going to purchase the place, that it used to be a speakeasy.
Oh, wow. Another one.
And another one. And I guess that they used to have a door in the basement. The basement was where it was, and they had a door that everybody would run and go through, and it would put them over into the basement of the building next door where they could hide.
Oh.
And I think I found that door today.
Oh, man.
It was covered up by a false wall, and this basement is as dark as you can imagine. There's no windows, and boy, as soon as your feet hit the floor, the creep factor sits in.
Oh, I'll bet.
So it's going to be interesting. And when I very first went through the building, I turned on my cell phone again. I thought, well, I'm going to record going down in the basement, so I could remember what I'm going to need to fix and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I caught a man whistling three tones.
Right.
And so I asked the owner, I said, did you ever hear a whistle in there? She said, oh, yes. And she whistled the complete tune.
Oh boy.
So that was pretty interesting. So I don't know who that is. And so she has told me of poltergeist activity there in the kitchen. And also mentioned that there's a corner of the basement that you can stand there and hear a little girl cry, Mary.
Oh, wow.
Mary.
Huh.
So, and she has seen a few apparitions that I'll talk about later on, but it's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, it sounds interesting for, having a group go in there and do an investigation and see what they come up with. I mean, sounds pretty cool.
Well, I didn't even actually buy the building for that, but after uncovering some of the history, I'm going to try to incorporate what I had plans for and this as well.
It's going to be a restaurant, right?
No, I don't think so. No, it used to be a diner. There's going to be, well, I'm working on something kind of special, so I'm going to keep that a secret until I know it. I don't want to jinx myself.
Right.
But,
huh. Well, that sounds really cool. So, are you going to be going to any events? I know we really wanted to see you at SilCon, but do you have any events planned that you're going to be going to?
well, I've missed going to events. I'm going to try to go to Scarefest.
Okay.
But right now, that's about the only one. I'm just so busy with all the locations and, and with this new place and all the renovating that'll be done.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be great to take a day or two off and go to one, but right now, Scarefest is about the only one that I might be able to make.
Yeah, we haven't been to Scarefest since 2014 was the last time we were there.
That's the last time I was there, I believe.
I think I probably saw you there, but you probably didn't recognize me. I was Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I don't remember seeing Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, Robin Terry wanted to bring in the Mystery Machine, and he put me in the Scooby-Doo costume. So I got to go around and take pictures with Steve and Dave Tango and a whole bunch of other people, and they had no clue I was just Scooby-Doo. It was hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah,
That is neat.
it was pretty cool though.
Are you what's the next event that you have going on?
We are going to be going to Gulf Coast Paracon in Biloxi, Mississippi, September 22nd through the 24th. Yep.
I wanted to go to that one, but there's just no way I can take out that much time travel that far.
All the way in Biloxi, Mississippi. That's a long drive.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Yes.
So, and then plus besides that, then we have a ghostology thing that we're going to be doing on the 26th, I think it is.
Yes, it's the 26th.
Yeah, and then packing up after that and heading straight to New Orleans for the Haunted Bourbon on 27th through the 29th.
That's in October.
Yep.
And
Oh,
that's
that'll
also,
be cool.
And that's also
New Orleans is cool.
That's also our red carpet event for the first episode of the new show.
Yeah, we're actually going to premiere our St. Albans episode, which is the first episode of season 1 at the Haunted Bourbon for all ticket holders.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because it comes
I
out.
would love to go visit St. Albans.
Oh,
Go do a tour.
Oh yeah, that's a great place. We've been there twice, and we actually filmed part of our movie there earlier this year. That was pretty cool.
Well, I hear it's a fantastic place. Maybe someday I'll get there to go and be able to see it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Marcel will welcome you with open arms. So go ahead and tell the listeners how they can actually get a hold of you to like book an investigation at the Hartford City Jail or the Speakeasy.
Well, either location. We have the Facebook page, which is the Hartford City Jail and the Hartford City Speakeasy, and you can call 765-808-8730 anytime, and I'll get book your date for you.
All right.
And we welcome you to come this way and try to make it a really good investigation for you. Make sure you're comfortable.
Oh yeah, we had a great time there.
And the jail does have heat and air conditioning, so that makes it nice.
Yes.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Well, alrighty, we do appreciate you coming on the show and sharing the information of all the locations and, of course, some of the experiences that you've had. And I'm sure our listeners enjoyed listening to that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and look forward to seeing you at the asylum.
Oh, yeah, we can't wait. You have yourself a good night.
Well, have a good night.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you go, folks. We're on away. And basically the Hartford City Jail, Hartford City Speakeasy, and she's got a new location that she just obtained, and they're also in charge of the Randolph County Asylum, which we will visit in December. Paula's got something in her hand. I wonder what it could be. Let's just take a look and see what it is.
If everybody is on board, we're going to do our paranormal questions here in just a minute.
If anybody wants to go ahead and call in once you hear the question, or if you'd like to call in and pick the number between 1 through 10, 270-883-1297. Or if you can't get through, go ahead and message Paula your phone number, and I'll go ahead and call you. But we are about to go ahead and start the segment called the Paranormal Fishbowl. And Paula is going to explain what the Paranormal Fishbowl is. Right? In 1 second. Go ahead and finish that tweet.
I am.
You guys seen that from like Deadpool, my favorite movie. Yeah, go ahead and finish your tweet. We'll wait.
Where's my tag?
Oh God.
My tag.
Oh boy.
There we go. The thing changes on me. I hate when updates go happen on Facebook.
Okay, well, people want to know what the Paranormal Fishbowl is all about. Explain
The
it.
Paranormal Fishbowl is basically, it's kind of like the Paranormal Roundtable. You end up having the question of the day. And it's a question that's open discussion. It's your pro and cons. what your opinion is. There's no wrong answer. There's no right answer. It's just an open-ended question, and everybody has a right to their opinions.
A learning experience.
And it's a learning experience. And some people can bring stuff to the table that can actually help somebody else out, or kind of help broaden the perspective of the idea of the question.
Yep. So if anybody wants to go ahead and call in to be a part of this segment, 270-883-1297, or message Paula your phone number and we will call you. But we're going to go ahead and take a little break here for a second to see if anybody's going to go ahead and call in, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, we just took a little short break there, and wanted to see if we were going to get anybody to jump into this segment here called the Paranormal Fishbowl. She's looking for it. I moved it.
What'd you do with it?
I guess I'm going to go ahead and dig in here, and we'll let Paula answer the question. Or if you guys want to know the answer, give us a call. There you go.
There you go. The question of the night is...
Will I win $1 million?
No, not exactly.
I'm so glad I'm not you.
Still is, it's not my question. I'm the one that designed the questions.
I'm the one that reads the question. You have to answer it.
Oh, I don't have to
That's
answer.
why I said I'm so glad I'm not you. Anyway, first question of the night. What are common criticisms and responses to the paranormal field? Hey, I just picked it out of the bowl. Anybody want to go ahead and call in for that one? What are the common criticisms and responses to the paranormal field? We may actually go ahead and actually post this on the Facebook page as well, so that way, you know, anybody can go ahead and send their response in if nobody calls in. Actually, I think Paula is going to go ahead and type it in. Yeah. So while she types that in, I'm going to go ahead and fill you guys in that, let's see, October 21st, we're going to be doing a meet and greet in Ashburn, Georgia from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Crime and Punishment Museum. And of course on the 26th, we will be conducting our seminar at the McCracken County Public Library. We're doing Ghostologies 101. So we're basically giving back to the community. We're going to be helping the community get a better understanding of what paranormal is. We're going to teach them the do's and don'ts of ghost hunting, how to figure out what the normal is before it can be quote-unquote paranormal. So we're going to teach them that. And of course, after we get done doing that, we're going to pack up and head on out to New Orleans for the Haunted Bourbon. And we will be in New Orleans October 27th through the 29th. And of course, like I've stated during the podcast here, for all ticket holders that mention our name, you'll actually get VIP seating, an autographed picture, and of course you will be able to see the premiere of the first episode of the Paranormal Journey Into the Unknown before it gets released to Amazon on October 31st. So it's really a cool thing. Besides that, it is a benefit for the NOPD 18th Division Police Department of New Orleans. So the proceeds of the convention actually go towards that. We've been doing a lot of benefits this year, and we are honored and privileged to be doing these benefits. We just got done doing one recently, August, the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. That was a really cool benefit. Proceeds went to the Wounded Warrior Pennsylvania chapter. So I do believe Paula went ahead and posted the question, and we'll see if we get any answers here.
Okay. Oh, and we've got a couple more. To repeat that question again, what are common criticisms and responses to the paranormal field?
We just got a message here that stated that there were 2 locations that we can go to and check out. So anyway, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to let Paula go ahead and talk to you guys for a second. She's going to probably work with you on this question. Excuse me, I gotta get through.
Okay. Thumbs up. So anybody, you can type in your answer, or you can call in, or you can private message me if you don't want to post it on the site. So it's all open game. Yes, no dead air. Yes. So, my opinions, what are the common criticisms in response to the paranormal field? I mean, we all have that, we always have that one person. How many of you, are you sure you're talking to a spirit? Are you sure you're not talking to a demon? And you run across those fields of people that, you know, they have brought into doubt, and you have brought into fear, and you have brought into the things of yeah, right, like there's no such thing as ghosts, or blah blah this or blah blah that. And you have to know that sometimes, in order for some people to make a believer, they have to have the ability to have an experience. And there's many people that are skeptic, and there's those doubters. Same way with any kind of field of paranormal work, you're going to always run into that one person that has so much negative on. You just try to brush it off and walk away. So if anybody else wants to answer in on this question, I'm going to leave this question up, and I'm going to make it be part of the podcast for next week. If you all just want to respond on it, I might end up bringing you all in, and we might finish up on this question on next week's episode. Basically call it unfinished business. So basically, what is your criticism? What do you think the paranormal field is what is, what's the pros of being in the paranormal field? What is the cons of being in the, what's, what makes the paranormal field work for what it is? Basically is the question. Besides, under that, I am going to be doing a little Facebook Live situation. Mine's going to be a little different. And mine is not going to be a constant item of, this little side business deal thing. But besides the podcast, mine is going to be whatever I feel like I'm going to do a live. I do have a little thing that I'm going to be doing. It's called Hometown Histories. And basically, I am going to be doing a little bit of my hometown live, showing where I grow up at, where I pretty well have been all my life, and about the histories of different locations, because things are being put behind closed doors. One of the things that's going on right now is about the Confederate statues. Yes, I understand both the pros and the cons in this, and I am not wavering my opinion on this whole situation, because my opinion should not be part of this podcast. But it's not just the statues, the arguments. We're also talking about buildings. We're talking about locations. We're talking about people that buy 200-year-old locations instead of taking the money to put into them. They're more worried about destroying them and tearing them down. And right now, if I can just say that if I can just go out there to one location, maybe that one location, and what me saying something about that location might give it some brownie points on hoping that someone would take it and caretake it and turn it around like it needs to be, instead of having it fall into some developer's hands and tearing it down and turning it into a gas station or a parking garage or an apartment complex. We've had so many of those things going on, and the same way with the paranormal field. We're going to all these haunted locations, or we're going to locations that are hardly investigated, and I just know that because of that, we are keeping history alive. It might be the fact that it might have a location that's haunted, but yet we go in, we know that we're investigating sometimes a historical location. That's the reason why it's so important to know the history about the location, not just about the building, but about for the land that it's sitting on. What happened across the street from it that might throw a horrendous tragedy that might lay on just being close to that property that might tie into that location. So I'm just saying that there's more to what's being said about a location than what it's being haunted. Always find out your stories. Don't ever go by what is being said. Always take everything that you say by a grain of salt, and just produce more on and on that. Those are the importance of everything. I believe Gavin is slowly making his way back this way. Maybe. Oh, well, yeah, here we go.
Stepping on stuff. Alrighty, I'm back.
Well, we had not gotten much of a response, but I told them that we could take the question, and we figured that we could leave it on all week long, and then we could do what called unfinished business at the beginning of the podcast next week and touch on the question for next week.
That would work.
And then we started talking about my little side run that I'm going to do, but that's not going to be one of those deals. It's going to be a weekly event. It's going to be whatever I feel like doing. It is my little hometown histories.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm going to be planning on that, and I told them it's not just about, sometimes history gets closed behind doors, and we're not talking about the monuments that they're trying to discard, the Confederate monuments, but I told them that my pros and cons on that I will keep to myself. But it's not just about those. There's buildings that are being torn down every day that are 200-year-old buildings and being turned into gas stations and parking garages and apartment complexes, and buildings have history. And
that's true. And just recently, the Robert E. Lee Elementary School went up in flames. I'm not sure where it was at, but I did hear that the Robert E. Lee Elementary School burned up. So I'm looking at this question. What are the common criticisms and responses?
Yeah, I did a little hack on it a while ago.
Well, I figured the criticisms is going to be... Well, in our case, it's the haters.
Well, yeah, you got your haters and you got your...
But it could also be the skeptics.
Yeah, I had talked about that too. Also talking about religion too, because people still thinks.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You got the religious aspect of it. You've got the non-believer aspect of it. You've got the one of those deals of the only way you can actually think it's something paranormal is if you had the experience yourself.
Right, right.
Which is 9 times out of 10 is the reason why someone gets into this field is because they had an experience.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody's gonna get criticized. You have your haters. You have your religious people come down on you as in, oh, you're talking to demons, and there's no such thing as this. Everybody has a higher power, and they go into divine intervention, and
right.
And then you go into you're gonna get yourself
possessed,
and
oh yeah.
I mean, there is so many pros and there's so many cons on this. I mean, but I would love to have your guys' opinion on all this.
Oh, most definitely. That's the reason why we have the Paranormal Fishbowl. We want to go ahead and get your guys' opinions on these questions. And of course, sometimes you can go ahead and call in 270-883-1297, and you can pick a number between 1 and 10, and she'll go ahead and pick it out of the bowl. Then you get to try to discuss that question for that corresponding number. But anyway, we're winding down now. We had a blast for our first live podcast. I mean, currently we did one over at SilCon, but it's nothing like what we did here. Of course, at SilCon we actually had physical guest interviews.
Which is going to happen again when we go to Biloxi.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll probably
get Kevin and Randy on. That would be interesting.
Oh yeah. Well, we got to get Kevin, Randy, and James on.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be a blast. And of course,
we'll have to call Serenity on that one.
Yeah. Well, Serenity was on earlier on this. She said, "Hey guys," but anyway, go ahead and keep up with us on Facebook, YouTube, of course. Go ahead and pull up our YouTube channel. You can watch the live broadcast because they're Facebook Live. You guys are not seeing all the graphics and everything. You're not seeing all the camera angles. So as soon as this gets done, I'm going to go ahead and upload it, and then I'll put the link on my Facebook page so you can actually experience the podcast, the YouTube version. You'll see all the graphics, all the camera angles, and the effects and everything. So that's the reason why I went ahead and posted earlier that you guys need to go ahead and go to YouTube, subscribe, so that way you can actually see all this stuff. Unfortunately, you can't do it on Facebook Live. Facebook Live only allows one camera. So we are going to go ahead and cut out here. Just go ahead and remember, September 22nd through the 24th, we will be at the Gulf Coast Paracon in Biloxi, Mississippi. October 21st, we will be doing a meet and greet from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Crime and Punishment Museum.
I'm kind of waiting for that one because I found out there's going to be some interesting experiences there that we're going to experiment with.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's not tell anybody.
Oh,
You can tell me later.
I already told you one.
Oh.
It involves our producer. He's going to be bait.
Oh, I love to do anything to make Joe bait.
Joe said he'd be willing to do it. That's the interesting part.
Joe will do crazy things. The conversations that we have online are just unbelievable. Anyway, October 26th, we are going to be doing a Ghostology presentation at the McCracken County Public Library in Paducah, Kentucky. That will be from 6 to 7 or 7 to 8?
7 to 8.
7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the second floor in the big, huge conference room is where we will be. And, of course, October 27th through the 29th, we will be in New Orleans at the Haunted Bourbon.
Shout out to Sasha.
Yep. Shout out to Sasha for putting that event together. She has done a tremendous job of putting that event together. And, of course, teams, if you guys want us to wear your shirts on our podcast while we are filming, on location, Facebook Lives, shoot me a message. We wear larges, and if you have ball caps, I love ball caps. I'll wear the heck out of them. And we will be more than happy to show off your team's logo on our shows. Also for radio show announcers and DJs, if you guys have t-shirts for your radio show, we will wear them as well. But it's been a good night. We had a great time with this podcast. I'm glad you all joined us for our first major podcast kickoff.
Also, one last hit about the hurricanes Harvey and Irma. If you all have any information you can send me that people can do donations or be able to have different facilities that maybe, I know some of the paranormal teams were talking about getting together and starting up some kind of fundraisers and stuff to help support, because we do have some fellow investigators that were in the middle of all this, and some of them had made it through, and some of them has family members that didn't be successful as some of them. So I noticed that some of the paranormal teams were trying to work on probably doing some fundraising or an auction or some stuff like that. If you all can get that information to me, I wouldn't mind broadcasting it on the next segment next week.
Yep, so join us next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central. And that basically means 10 p.m. Eastern. So we are going to go ahead and sign off, and everybody have themselves a good night.
Night.
Good night.